I'm Aditya Raj Kaul and you're watching In India's Interest. Can you imagine a country in the world which doesn't arrest and convict a terrorist responsible for killing her armed forces? Can you imagine a nation which instead of sending a terrorist and a psychopath killer to gallows gave him all the luxuries and money through an intelligence agency? Can you imagine a state which had a prime minister inviting a terrorist to his residence instead of sending him off to a prison? Let me make that easy for you. That country is none other than India. Terrorist Yasin Malik of the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front went to Pakistan in the late 80s to get arms training from Pakistan Army and the ISI. On his return, he began selectively killing Kashmiri Hindus, the minority in the Kashmir Valley, and the Indian armed forces. On January 25, 1990, Yasin Malik and his JKLF terrorists killed 4 unarmed Indian Air Force officers in Srinagar, Kashmir early morning. Before this, on December 8, 1989, Yasin Malik, along with his other terrorists, abducted Rubia Saeed, daughter of the then Home Minister of India, Mufti Mohammad Saeed. Wife of Squadron Leader Ravi Khanna awaits justice for her husband who sacrificed his life for the nation. For last 34 years, the case is pending before the Special Tara Court of the CBI in Jammu. Rubia Saeed has already identified Yasin Malik inside the court as a witness. Yet, the wheels of justice are yet to move. Kashmiri pundits have also accused Yasin Malik of countless barbaric killings in the Kashmir Valley. And now, this brings us to the questions that we are asking here in India's Interest. Why has the government failed to get death penalty for terrorist Yasin Malik? Why did it take 30 years for India to arrest terrorist Yasin Malik, who is currently in the Tihar jail? And finally, why can't the Supreme Court of India deliver speedy justice for Yasin Malik's terror crimes? And joining us on the debate this afternoon, Monica Kohli, Senior Additional Advocate General, Jammu and Kashmir, K. Rajendra, former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, and in a bit from now, we'll be joined by Major Muhammad Ali Shah, Defense and Strategic Affairs expert. Let me go live across to former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, K. Rajendra, who we had interviewed for a special documentary, Enemy of the State, that we'll be playing out after this broadcast. Sir, I want to begin by asking you, Yasin Malik has got the life sentence finally in the terror Hawala case, as you rightly know. But why has it taken 34 years for India to realize, for the government and the state to realize that he was a menace to the society? He was a perpetrator of injustice. He had carried out barbaric killings and he was involved in antisocial activities at the behest of the Pakistani ISI. Why wasn't there action in the last 30 years? And I ask you because for significant amount of time you were the DGP as well. Were there any political pressures, or do you think that New Delhi was playing some kind of a game in Kashmir which resulted in Yasin Malik being given a long rope?
First of all, thank you very much for having on your show, Aditya. This is something, a very, very important thing which you have flagged. Why it should take 34 long years to convict a terrorist who is not only accused, who the entire world knows, he is being handled by the Pakistani ISI. They have propped him up. He's got married in Pakistan, his wife Mushal, and has got a daughter by name Razia Sultana, who is also addressed the POK, Pak-occupied Jammu Kashmir Assembly recently, pleading for her father. Now, having said that, this terrorist Yasin Malik, who was responsible for killing 4 IAF unarmed officers and also injuring another 22 of them, was arrested in the year 1990 itself by the CBI, and it was charge-sheeted. Both cases were charge-sheeted. Somehow, subsequently, the entire case was put in a cold storage, and terrorist Yasin Malik was released on bail in 1995. Obviously, it appears that there have been back-channel communication wherein the government of India of that point of time was using him, perhaps, thought that he can be used for peaceful negotiations. In my view, a terrorist who has picked up a gun and indulged in killing and waging a war against the state can never be engaged. He has very firm convictions. Even as a student leader, he started off a Tala party where he was distributing the pamphlets. In 1983, he has disturbed the cricket match between India and West Indies at Kashmir Stadium in Srinagar, and then he has converted his party into Islamic Students League and joined with the MUF in 87 elections, goes to Pakistan, comes back completely indoctrinated. So his ideology was very clear right from day one that he does not believe in the Indian Constitution. If MUF has contested elections in 1987, his party as Islamic Students League, he said he would not believe in Indian Constitution or democracy and hence would not contest elections but supported the MUF and subsequently goes to Pakistan. Now, with that sort of a history of a terrorist who not only is responsible for kidnapping Rubayya Sayyid, the then Home Minister's daughter, and also indulging in killing of IAF officers and responsible for the whole mayhem. In fact, I would hold terrorist Yasin Malik accountable and responsible for entire genocide of the minority Kashmiri population in the 1990 and thereafter through his cohorts and especially Bitta Karate, whom you call as Farooq Ahmad Dar. He openly agreed on the TV. He had the cheek to confess on TV that he was responsible for killing everyone. He said he got orders to kill such and he killed them. And when he was asked whether he would kill his mother, he said, yes, if I'm given order, I'll kill my mother also. Yet, such a terrorist who has been in the forefront of entire genocide of Kashmiri population, Kashmiri Pandits, and I as an young SP recorded his statement under TADA.
Right.
And appeared in the courts, religiously the TADA court, and deposed against him. Yet he got scot-free. Well, the wheels of justice might take a little longer time, but justice will certainly catch him up. I'm firmly convinced the justice is going to catch up, and Yasin Malik, I'm certain he will hang.
Well, you're certain that Yasin Malik will be hanged, sir. That is going to be my next question, that wheels of justice have taken 34 years to move. But do you think that now at least speedy justice will be done? Because already the NIA is demanding death penalty in the case of terror funding. August 9th is the hearing in the Delhi High Court. They're challenging the lower court verdict of life sentence. One is that. And second is, of course, the Indian Air Force men killing and the Rubayya Sayyid kidnapping, which is happening at the TADA court, which you also mentioned. Sir, do you think that in one of these cases he would get death penalty? And again, the death penalty will not continue for years. Perhaps there will be speedy justice.
See, earlier there have been, as you pointed out in your introductory remarks, he was engaged by various agencies as well as the government at that point of time. So he was given a long rope. But then he has not mended his ways. He continued. And subsequently, of late, we have seen the present government has taken a stand of no talks with the terror, no dialogue with the terrorist nation across Pakistan, and then also taken firm action against the terror infrastructure, dismantling them, banning the Jamaat-e-Islami, and so on and so forth. And the cases have been reopened from 1917, 1918 onwards. 2018, 2019 onwards. All these cases have been reopened and the trial is taking place. I'm certain in the days to come, in near future, the justice should be delivered. Of course, it might take a little longer time, given the sort of criminal justice system we have. But certainly, I'm sure the law will catch him up.
Catch him up, and Yasin Malik will certainly get convicted. That's what former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, K. Rajendra, is saying. We'll be joined in a bit by Monica Kohli, who is the Additional Advocate General of Jammu and Kashmir, also looking at the Yasin Malik case for last several years. And we'll get an update from her on what exactly is happening with the Yasin Malik case, which has been pending for last 34 years. For viewers who are just joining us, I'll brief you. Yasin Malik is a terrorist of the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front. Last year, he was convicted by the lower court in Delhi in the NIA case of terror funding that was registered in 2017. In the year 2019, JKLF was banned by the Government of India, and Yasin Malik was immediately arrested from his house in Maisuma in Srinagar. Ever since that day, he has been inside the prison. in, of course, Tihar jail. There's been several controversies regarding Yasin Malik also. I'll go to former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, K. Rajendra, again. Sir, you saw recent controversy where Yasin Malik suddenly appeared in the Supreme Court of India in one of the hearings where he is saying that, you know, he wants to appear in person in both the cases, in the NIA case as well, and of course the case of CBI in Jammu. The Solicitor General of India, Tushar Mehta, has, you know, complained to the Home Secretary of India that this was a violation. He was not summoned by the Supreme Court and yet he appeared, and there needs to be action, and immediately in Tihar jail there were some officials who were suspended. How do you see this development? Do you see that there was, you know, security nightmare, that the situation could have changed? Because Yasin Malik could be someone who is a terrorist, he could be killed, he could act violent, or there could be his supporters who could act, you know, take law in their own hands.
Well, it is a huge security lapse. It shouldn't have happened. The MHA has already issued orders that he should not be taken out of the prison, and whatever trial that goes on, it is through the video conferencing, which is also legal under the Indian Indian Evidence Act. So there was no need for him to be taken to the court, which I believe is a security lapse, and there must have been some connivance. Now, as per the orders of the court, Tihar jail officials have been taken to task. Some of them have been placed under suspension. Now, Yasin Malik, whatever is there, he has to appear before the court through the video conferencing, and he is trying, by insisting on personal attendance, he is trying to scuttle the proceedings. He is trying to delay. He wants to go to J&K on one pretext or other for appearing in these cases, so that he can further fuel some sort of agitation in the population in Jammu. He would like to inflame the passions. So that's the reason why he is trying to scuttle. He is trying to take all legal recourses. He doesn't want any advocate. He is trying to plead his own case.
Yes, Yasin Malik has been trying to scuttle. Perhaps he had support of some agencies in the past, but now what is taking so long? Why is he completely trying to scuttle all hearings in Delhi as well as in Jammu, buying more time because perhaps he knows that the noose is tightening against him, and that the life sentence any moment can change into death sentence as well. Nirmal Khanna ji joins us. Nirmal Khanna is wife of the brave Lieutenant Colonel Ravi Khanna, squadron leader Ravi Khanna, I beg your pardon, who sacrificed his life for the country on 25th of January 1990 when Yasin Malik and JKLF terrorists actually attacked and killed him and other personnel of the Indian Air Force. Nirmal Khanna ji, Aditya Raj Kaul बोल रहा हूँ. मुझे आप बताएं, क्योंकि अभी भी यासीन मलिक की हेयरिंग जो है दिल्ली में चल रही है. 9 अगस्त को जो है NIA वहां पर उनके लिए डेथ पेनल्टी जो है मांगेगी. आप पर बहुत जो है बीती है, आपके परिवार पर. 34 साल से आप अकेले जो है लड़ रही हैं. क्या कहेंगी आप? कितनी बड़ी लड़ाई आपके लिए रही है ये?
देखिए आदित्य राज कौल जी, मैं इतना ही कहना चाहती हूँ कि इस समय जो मेरे साथ हुआ, मैं पिछला सब ये मेरा संघर्ष जो था मेरे हस्बैंड को इंसाफ दिलाने के लिए था, लेकिन इंसाफ अभी तक बाकी है. बाकी ये है कि मैंने पहले भी कहा था कि एक चींटी मारो तो कर्म बनता है. तो स्क्वाड्रन लीडर रवि खन्ना along with 3 Air Force personnel were killed without any rhyme and reason. So why he is still alive? देश का कानून है, कोई कत्ल करता है तो उसको सजाए मौत होती है. लेकिन इसके लिए पहली हुकूमतें क्या करती रही हैं, क्या उसमें नेगोशिएशन होती रही है, अंडर द कारपेट क्या होता रहा है, इनका क्या कुछ था आपस में. मेरी लड़ाई तो जारी रही और अभी भी जारी है. मैंने एक ही बात कही है, मुझे और कुछ नहीं पता. मेरे को यही पता है कि स्क्वाड्रन लीडर खन्ना इसको हॉन्ट कर रहा है. वो भी एक ऐसी आत्मा है कभी तक शांत नहीं होगी जब तक उसका बदला नहीं लिया जाता. बिकॉज ही हैज बीन किल्ड विदाउट एनी राइम एंड रीजन. ही वॉज इन यूनिफॉर्म गोइंग टू हिज ऑफिस. ऑन द वे ही हैज बीन किल्ड. बड़े प्यार से रास्ता पूछा, नटीपुरा का रास्ता कहाँ है, रास्ता बताते बताते पहली गोली एब्डोमेन पे मारी और उसके बाद उसने इसकी गन, कितना नेक वृत्ति का इंसान था, एयर में गन कर दी और इसकी पूरी AK-47 एयर में खाली करके साथ ही अपने दूसरे साथी को कहा, शर्मा सेव योर सेल्फ। और शर्मा जो ये कत्ल करता रहा, शर्मा पेड़ के नीचे जाके लेट गया, लेकिन इन्हीं का साथी पीछे से आया, पूरी 27 गोलियों का मैगजीन पीछे से खाली कर दिया। 28 गोलियां लगने पर भी वो बंदा उस वक्त भी, उसका पता नहीं कौन सा ऐसा दिमाग का जो सेल था वो काम कर रहा था। ही lived for his nation, he died for the cause of nation, and while dying also he saved one officer। इसी के लिए मैंने कश्मीर फाइल्स जब पिक्चर आई थी उसमें मैंने इसका स्टे इसीलिए लिया था, बिकॉज माई हस्बैंड सेक्रीफाइस हैड बीन ridiculed बाय दैट डायरेक्टर। तो ये छोटी मोटी बातें जो ये लोग आपस में मिल मिला के सारा कुछ खराब कर देते हैं, इसी कारण देश में बड़ी खराबियां होती हैं। आज भी आप देख रहे हो, अरे भाई अभी जो कुछ हो रहा है, हर एक को पकड़ पकड़ के आप अंदर दे रहे हो और आपने उनके लिए सजाएं भी मुकर्रर किए हैं, उनको नेशनल सिक्योरिटी एक्ट में भी ले रहे हो, सब कुछ ले रहे हो। तो इसका जो 32 साल 34 साल पुराना केस हो गया, रब का वास्ता है, हुकूमत कब जागेगी?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल निर्मल खन्ना जी, आप बिल्कुल सही कह रही हैं। आपके साथ मुझे लगता है कि हिंदुस्तान का कोई ऐसा नागरिक नहीं होगा जो आज नहीं खड़ा, और सब प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी, गृह मंत्री अमित शाह, सरकार, सुप्रीम कोर्ट, NIA कोर्ट और CBI की टाडा कोर्ट को कह रहे हैं कि इंसाफ अब नहीं तो कब। निर्मल खन्ना जी, मैं आपसे दरखास्त करता हूं कि आप मेरे साथ जुड़े रहें। निर्मल जी आप जुड़े रहें, क्योंकि 2 लोग और
जो संघर्ष किया है ना,
जी
मैंने ये मौजूदा सरकार की मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि मेरे हस्बैंड को वॉर मेमोरियल में उसका हक दिया है। कल मैं अभी दिल्ली से कल ही मैं 2 तारीख को उसको ऑनर किया गया है, रिप्लेइंग सेरेमनी पे आई हैड बीन कॉल्ड। तो मुझे ये लगता है कि मैं अभी भी मर नहीं सकती हूँ जब मेरे हस्बैंड को, जब तक उसके शौर्य का वो उसको शौर्य नहीं दिया जाता,
बिल्कुल
तब तक कभी मैं चैन से ना मरूंगी ना इनको जीने दूंगी। सब
बिल्कुल आप सही कह रही हैं, बिल्कुल आप सही कह रही हैं।
करना है इस देश में, इंसाफ अगर नहीं होगा तो फिर इस देश के लिए खड़ा होना मुश्किल है। हमारी आने वाली पीढ़ियों के लिए प्रेरणा है कि जो इंसाफ है वो करो, और जल्दी होना चाहिए इंसाफ।
बिल्कुल जल्दी होना चाहिए इंसाफ। बिल्कुल बिल्कुल निर्मल खन्ना जी,
इतनी देर क्यों लग गई?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल निर्मल खन्ना जी, आप हमारे साथ जुड़े रहें, क्योंकि 2 और वरिष्ठ लोग जो हैं हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं जो जम्मू कश्मीर से वास्ता रखते हैं। के राजेंद्र जो फॉर्मर DGP हैं जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के, और मोनिका कोहली जो है एडिशनल एडवोकेट जनरल, वो भी हमारे साथ अभी जुड़ेंगी। लेकिन निर्मल खन्ना जी, अगर मैं आपको पूछूं एक स्पष्ट रूप से, आप सरकार से, मोदी सरकार से, जिन्होंने ऑनर किया है स्क्वाड्रन लीडर रवि खन्ना को, लेकिन आप डिमांड क्या करेंगे, क्योंकि 34 साल बीत गए हैं, अगले साल फिर से चुनाव होना है, आप क्या चाहती हैं कि इंसाफ कितनी जल्दी हो और यासीन मलिक को क्या सजा मिलनी चाहिए?
मुझे आज कितने साल हो गए रिक्वेस्ट करते हुए, एक मुलाकात मोदी जी से। आप मीडिया वालों ने बड़ी मेहरबानी की है मेरे ऊपर, पर आप लोग एक मीटिंग नहीं करा सके कि मैं हमको अवगत कराऊं। वो भीतर से अगर ही इज अवेकन, सारी दुनिया मानती है ही इज अवेकन, उनको सारा विश्व नतमस्तक होता है। तो इतना तो कहूं कि भाई जवान थी तब की देखो, आज ऐसी बूढ़ी हो गई, मरने के कगार पे हो, हर बार मौत के मुंह से वापिस आ जाती है। क्योंकि मेरे हस्बैंड को ये शौर्य भी चाहिए और उसका मौत का बदला मौत चाहिए, बस, और मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए, ताकि मैं भी चैन की नींद सो सकूं।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल आप सही कह रही हैं। मिस्टर के राजेंद्र, यू बीन हियरिंग निर्मल खन्ना, शी इज बीन वेरी vociferous for the last 3 to 4 years, speaking in media. In the past also she has been waging this lonely battle against this monster Yasin Malik, and pleading before the state, both in Jammu and Kashmir and Delhi, that justice should be done. Listening to her, what goes through your mind, sir?
First of all, my deep condolences and salute to the martyr, Squadron Leader Khanna and other colleagues who have laid down their lives for the country. Secondly, the law will take its own course, despite all the efforts made by Yasin Malik to delay the proceedings. The law this time I feel is certain. The hearing would take place on day-to-day basis. Malik could not have, he doesn't have much time. He has to face the justice. And again, let me repeat, whatever squadron leader Khanna has done, he has done for the nation. And whatever Yasin Malik has done, picking up arms and waging a war against the state, Indian state is not going to sit quietly. Indian legal system might, one might feel that the justice is delayed, but certainly they would ensure no innocent is involved, no innocent is, punished, but certainly the convict, the terrorist would not go scot-free. It is just a matter of time. I have a firm conviction that the day is not far when Yasin Malik trial will come to an end.
Fair
and
enough.
He would be convicted and hanged.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have no doubts in our mind that this has to happen. It took 34 years. We don't know why. But joining us is Monica Kohli, Additional Advocate General from Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us live from Jammu. I remember interviewing you 4 years ago on Yasin Malik, and you had said that there will be hope. And certainly there has been hope, at least in the, the Hawala case. There's been life sentence and the NIA is asking for death sentence now. The hearing will take place on August 9th. But in the Indian Air Force men case and in the Rubia Saeed case, why do you think, ma'am, it has taken 34 years? And for the viewers, for the benefit of the viewers who are very eager to know who Yasin Malik is, what he has done, could you tell us what happened and at what stage is the case right now?
Thank you, Aditya, for having me on your show. What I would like to tell you is, it's not, the challenge is not in the trial, but we are dealing with right now. Challenge was when we got the stay in the High Court vacated, because it was pending there from last 30 years. So it was a challenge for us when we got that stay vacated, because since the charges had been framed in the year 1990, and since then the matter was pending before the Honorable High Court in one court or the other court for vacation of the stay. So finally, when this trial has now started, we have been cross-examining, and examination in chief of the witnesses have been going, and cross-examination of them have been going on, and the trial is going on a fast-track basis. And a roster, a calendar has been fixed. The witnesses are getting examined on almost every date, every hearing. So it's not that now we are not facing any such problem that the trial is stalled for any of the reasons, because the trial is continuing. The only hassles we are facing these days is because one or the other day the accused is moving an application that I don't want a lawyer, I just want to be in the court and I want to cross-examine the witnesses myself. That is what was creating problem for us in few of the hearings. But we have approached the Honorable Supreme Court, and Honorable Supreme Court has stayed his production in the, because the court had asked for the production of Yasin Malik in the court, but Supreme Court has stayed that order in the last hearing. So it's not a challenge anymore, because I am sure the witnesses have identified him, and almost every witness who comes to the court in the Air Force case, they are able to identify him, and they are specifically telling how the entire incident, how the entire situation was there. So everything is coming in now. The trial is proceeding in a very positive direction.
Well, the trial is moving in a positive direction. That certainly gives a glimmer of hope, not just to Nirmal Khanna, who is joining us live right now, but also to millions of people who've been tracking Kashmir and Yasin Malik closely. Many of his victim families also, ma'am, who have been waging this battle for justice. What would your message really be? Because you, of course, are representing the state and you are going as per the law. You're proving that the accused is guilty here and, he has committed these crimes. You have witnesses, you have other evidences as well. What would be your message to the family members who are waiting eagerly and perhaps are not monitoring so closely the case as of now? Because you are abreast with the case. What would be your reassurance to those family members and people watching?
See, as long as when I'm dealing with the trial and I see all the witnesses who come to the court and they depose their statements, we are quite sure as of now, because all the witnesses have, majority of the witnesses have identified Yasin Malik, and the other accused also. So definitely they should not be disheartened for anything, because justice is going to prevail and justice is going to come, and they will see that one day this Yasin Malik and other co-accused will be given the punishment as per law, and there is not that far now.
Let's hope for the best. Monica Kohli, actually from Jammu and Kashmir, reassuring the families the day is not far when justice will be done in the case of the killing, barbaric killing of Indian Air Force men and the kidnapping of Rubiya Syed. Nirmal Khanna ji, अगर आप मुझे जुड़ रही हैं जम्मू से, Monica Kohli ji, you're saying something?
Yeah, I just want to tell Madam Nirmal Khanna, because she has faced a lot. We have officers coming from Air Force and at that time who were posted, who are giving their statements, and they are identifying Yasin Malik. Almost every witness who has come till now from Air Force, who were present at that time when this incident happened, and we have seen how painful when they narrate the story, what pain they feel, and we know the justice is going to be done very soon. So, madam, don't be disheartened. No doubt there is a delay, but justice will be done.
Over to you, Monica Kohli, for leading this battle. Really, the verdict, whatever it will be historic. I can certainly foresee that. Nirmal Khanna ji, अगर आप मुझे जुड़ रही हैं अभी ब्रॉडकास्ट में, आपने सुना मोनिका कोहली जो सरकार की तरफ से वहां पर एडिशनल एडवोकेट जनरल है, यासीन मलिक का केस देख रही हैं पिछले चंद सालों से, वो रेश्योर कर रही हैं, कह रही हैं कि इंडियन एयरफोर्स के लोग भी विटनेसेस आए हैं, अब उन्होंने पूरी तरीके से आइडेंटिफाई किया है यासीन मलिक को ही कातिल है, वही आतंकवादी है, और पूरा जो दर्दनाक बयान आपने भी बहुत बार बोला है वो उन्होंने कोर्ट के सामने रखा है। और मोनिका कोहली जी कह रही हैं कि जल्द से जल्द अब हमें उम्मीद है कि इंसाफ होगा।
ईश्वर करे कि अब जल्द से जल्द इंसाफ होना चाहिए। ये कोई छोटा पीरियड नहीं है कि मैं वो दिन देखने के लिए अभी भी मैंने भी प्लेज कर रखा है, आई विल नॉट डाई टिल द टाइम जस्टिस इज डन। मेरा भी ईश्वर से यही प्रार्थना है कि ये इंसाफ होना चाहिए। और आने वाली पीढ़ियों को कौन सा मैसेज दे रही है? मुझे इंडियन जुडिशरी पर बड़ा मान है, उन्होंने बहुत बढ़िया काम किए हैं, मुझे बड़ा इंसाफ मिला है। मैंने पेंशन केस भी लड़के, ये मुझे इंडियन जुडिशरी की देन है जो मुझे मिला है
जी। मैंने
कोई थोड़ा संघर्ष नहीं किया है, मेरे साथ ऐसा सब हुआ है जो होना नहीं चाहिए। तो यासीन मलिक को उसकी किए की सजा मिलनी चाहिए, ये मैं बार बार दुआई दे रही हूँ कि उसकी सजा उसको मिलेगी। तो आने वाली पीढ़ियों को ये विश्वास होगा कि इंडियन डिफेंस फोर्सेस में हम तभी महफूज हैं जब हमारा इंसाफ हो। ये थोड़ा कोई भी टॉप डिक एंड हैरी खड़ा होके तो वो निहत्थे लोगों को आपने उनका इतना कीमती इंसान, इतना कीमती खून नालियों में बहा के तो उसको वीआईपी बना के, उसको हीरो बना के देश में उसको सुशोभित करते रहे
जी।
ये बर्दाश्त से बाहर है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल निर्मल खन्ना जी, आप हमें जुड़ी आज इस ब्रॉडकास्ट में। पहले तो सब लोगों की तरफ से आपको सैल्यूट है कि आपने ये जंग खुद अकेले लड़ी है, आपको किसी ने मदद नहीं की, चाहे वो जम्मू कश्मीर में हो, पूरे हिंदुस्तान में हो, लेकिन इंसाफ ज़रूर होगा। मोनिका कोहली जी यहाँ पर कह रही हैं, के राजेंद्र जी भी आपके साथ यहाँ पर खड़े हुए हैं, और जल्द अब देखते हैं अगस्त 9 को क्या होगा और कब जम्मू की टाडा कोर्ट जो सीबीआई की कोर्ट है कब जल्द से जल्द फैसला लेगी। Many thanks to Advocate Monica Kohli and K. Rajendra for joining us live. निर्मल खन्ना जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका जुड़ने के लिए। Viewers, let's toss in now to Enemy of the State, a documentary that I made on Yasin Malik when I traveled to Jammu and Kashmir to tell you why Yasin Malik is enemy of the state and what's behind the killing spree that he went into in 1990 and ever since. Keep watching News9 Live.
बंदूक की तहरीक छोड़कर एक पुरअमन तहरीक शुरू की है। कश्मीरी मिलिटेंट लीडरशिप हैं, उनको पीस प्रोसेस में जो डिसीजन मेकिंग डायलॉग प्रोसेस हैं उसमें शामिल करना निहायत ही जरूरी है।
He is a terrorist who has mercilessly killed people. सूरत बिगाड़ दी कश्मीर की, खून की नदियां बहा दी।
parties in the power later on gave him free way to declare Indira Gandhi.
He is also a chameleon of sorts who kind of knew how to play the system.
देशद्रोही अपने हथों पर हमला करे तो वो देश पर हमला है.
He was given a stamp sort of by the Indian authorities saying, yes, he is our man.
There's not one guy I can identify as Yasin Malik.
चार्जेस लगे थे उस पर. कोर्ट में जब सुनवाई हुई उसने कहा मुझे अपनी सफाई में कुछ नहीं कहना. उसे उम्र कैद की सजा मिली है.
2 life imprisonments and 5-10 years, all to run concurrently.
This is where Yasin Malik's fate was sealed in the 2017 Terror Hawala case. A foregone conclusion, many believe, since he had already pleaded guilty. But this is not an open and shut simple story of a terrorist getting convicted for life imprisonment for his terror crimes. This is a story of a man who is a radical, a cold-blooded murderer, the enemy of the Indian state, and a self-professed Gandhian. This is a story of many faces of Yasin Malik.
He is the person responsible for causing so much of mayhem, death and destruction in the entire state of Jammu and Kashmir, and especially in Kashmir region.
Those militants at times, they were giving a message every day that we are more powerful than the state of India. Do what you can do.
Who is the real Yasin Malik? And where did his journey begin? Born on April 3rd, 1966 in Maisuma, Srinagar, Yasin Malik was the son of a bus driver. Malik takes his first steps in political notoriety. He formed the Tala Party, which specialized in causing unrest and turmoil in Jammu and Kashmir. A turning point for Yasin Malik at the Kashmir Valley. This was when an activist, Malik, turned to the gun. In the 1987 polls, he was the polling agent for Muhammad Yusuf Shah, who would go on to earn notoriety as Hizbul Mujahideen chief Sayyid Salahuddin. The national conference led by Farooq Abdullah won the allegedly rigged elections, and this was a trigger for pushing the valley's youth away from the mainstream and towards extremism. Malik was among the first batch of youth disillusioned with democracy to cross over to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir for arms training under Inter-Services Intelligence patronage and joined the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front, the JKLF.
Yasin Malik, along with other terrorists who went across, got fully indoctrinated, projected themselves as a pro-independent outfit or a very secular.
People who pick up arms, somewhere, somehow, inside them they have a violent person inside them.
JKLF never said, of course their name looked very secular, Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, the selection of targets, it suggested that they were a pro-Pakistani group.
In 1989, then Prime Minister VP Singh was at the helm of affairs at the centre, and Mufti Muhammad Said was India's Home Minister. On December the 8th, JKLF militants led by Malik kidnapped Rubayya Said, the daughter of India's Home Minister. Their demand for her release: free 5 dreaded militants: Abdul Hamid Sheikh, Ghulam Nabi Bhatt, Noor Muhammad Kalwal, Muhammad Altaf and Javed Zargar.
Here we are, the Home Minister of the country is grieved by a daughter's kidnapping. And what do we do? What do we do?
What is happening to our country? There are a handful of people who have come up with guns and the state cannot counter them.
It was all planned for bigger objective. That if we do this, probably we can make the state government, the state of the country, kneel down in front of us.
This was a turning point. Had those 5 militants not been released, and this day when they were released, I was in Kashmir. there was celebration among militant ranks. This was like as if the last nail in India's coffin had been just, hammered.
Kashmir before and after Rubia Saeed's kidnapping were two completely different places. The release of 5 terrorists in exchange for Rubia Saeed had emboldened terrorists like never before in Kashmir. That led to a spate of dastardly acts of violence and terrorism. In the last week of May 2022, a special CBI court in Jammu summoned Rubia Saeed as a star witness in her own kidnapping case on July 15.
निहत्थे अपनी ड्यूटी पे जा रहे हैं इन ए वेरी गुड ह्यूमर. ही आस्क्ड कि नटीपुरा का रास्ता कौन सा है, वो उसको बता रहा है. एक गोली लगने के बाद वो लड़ा है. 28 बुलेट्स लगे मेरे हस्बैंड को टोटल.
Yasin Malik and his ilk, they felt completely emboldened and felt that they could bring down the government of India to its knees.
It was something which was seen as a big anti-state act, and it scared people to a great level.
In one of the most spine-chilling attacks in Kashmir, 4 Indian Air Force officers were murdered in cold blood on 25th January 1990. Yasin Malik, who was the area commander, admitted to the killings.
I have clear knowledge of that day, and I also remember people saying that he said, please don't give them water. He told people, don't give them water, let them die.
अगर 1 रुपया सैयद कुर्बान हो जाती, 1 रुपया सैयद, तो कितने लोग बच जाते भाई? क्यों छोड़े इतने लोग?
The groups, JKLF, other groups, HM had just started raising its heads in Srinagar. So they would call us immediately. A blast happening, they'll call us on our phones and telling us, "हमने ये कर दिया, लिख दो."
As the JKLF's reign of unbridled terror unleashed, prominent Kashmiri Pandits were targeted and gunned down in cold blood. Justice Neelkant Ganju, Tikkalal Taplu, Premnath Bhatt, and ML Bhan were just a few of JKLF's targets. By the end of 1990, most Kashmiri Pandits had fled the valley, fearing for their lives.
So the idea was to kill a prominent person, and then send a message across to everyone. Kill one and terrorize 1,000 was perhaps the concept adopted by the JKLF at that point of time.
Yasin Malik was arrested in 1990 after the killings of squadron leader Ravi Khanna and his colleagues from the Air Force. According to a book by former Research and Analysis Wing Chief A.S. Dullat, within 4 years, the center began seeing him in a less harsher light. Dullat personally oversaw Malik's release in 1994.
In 1993-94, with the rise of the radical separatist outfit Hurriyat Conference led by Hawks Syed Ali Shah Gilani and Mirwaiz Umar Farooq, the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front had to take a back seat. In 1995, Yasin Malik announced that he will give up arms after years of violence. But he wasn't tried and convicted for several crimes that he had committed against humanity, including several cold-blooded murders in the Kashmir Valley.
I remember the grin on his face when he was flaunting his Armani jacket. I mean, I couldn't stand that. I said, a person who has killed a lot of people. He's in Delhi, in the heart of Delhi. I think it was India International Center. He was talking about his life and his style.
Efforts were made to get him into the mainstream, and of course, being the local, they felt perhaps they can be used for negotiation, for bringing down, for making the people to look on the other side.
Fate favored the enemy of the state. When governments at the center in India believed that a free Yasin Malik would further their objectives in J&K, Malik and another separatist leader, Shabir Shah, were released in 1994 as the government sought to make stakeholders of rebels. This was track to diplomacy at work.
Dr. Manmohan Singh, मैं उनको शत नमन करती हूँ. डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह कोई साधारण, ये भी कोई सितारे होते हैं इंसान के गर्दिश के, कि कहते हैं लम्हों की गलती सदियों का हिसाब. अब डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह हमारे भीष्म पितामह की तरह याद किए जाएंगे. मुझे बड़ा दुख लगता है.
Had he been a part of, had he believed in democracy and the peace process, they could have gone into the electoral mode. He did not go into the electoral mode because they never believed in the Indian constitution.
It was a day of shame. A red carpet was laid for a terrorist who killed people in Kashmir. But he was given later red carpet in the Prime Minister House, as I said earlier. Keeping in mind, probably we can use these people to make some peace with the terrorists or peace with the mindset.
I don't know which fools in the government of India thought that they could convert a Yasin Malik from a murderer, a conscienceless murderer who is accused of so many crimes, to a man who could be governing the Indian state.
As an Indian, as a Kashmiri, you felt hurt, you felt ashamed of your government when killers were roaming free and people were defending them. They were seen with the prime ministers. You know, there was total confusion. A state of India looked like a pygmy in front of the big colossus of terrorism that time.
In a 2001 interview, Yasin Malik famously said about himself, "When people look at Yasin Malik, they have to look at three Yasin Maliks. One from 84 to 88, a student activist. The second from 88 to 94, a militant. And the third from 94 onwards, a Gandhian."
वहाँ कश्मीरी लोगों को दहशत में डालना है, क्योंकि ये बेगुनाहों का कत्ल है.
While Malik claimed to be smoking the peace pipe, the government finally recognized his doublespeak. The National Investigative Agency, NIA, charged Malik with spearheading the Joint Resistance Leadership, which brought together disparate factions of the Hurriyat and inciting the 2016 unrest in the valley. Malik was arrested in April 2019, and his arrest came weeks after the JKLF was banned for the second time by the Indian government after the Pulwama terror attack, in which 40 braveheart CRPF personnel were brutally killed.
पुलवामा में हुआ क्रूर आतंकवादी हमला यह दिखाता है कि अब बातों का समय निकल चुका है. अब सारी दुनिया को आतंकवाद और उसके समर्थकों के विरुद्ध एकजुट होकर ठोस कदम उठाने की आवश्यकता है.
I'm so happy that at least now in our lifetime this is coming to an end. At least justice will be given to those people who were wronged by the state also.
Now this is the biggest change. Pursuing the cases, taking them to logical conclusion. Deterrence is the biggest factor. Certainty of deterrence.
इस देश में एक निशान, एक विधान, एक प्रधान. That's very clear. And then Amit Shah ji and Prime Minister Modi ji will never allow any such element to raise their hand in the country.
The fact that a cold-blooded killer like Yasin Malik evaded trial for 3 decades exposes the policy failure of successive governments at multiple fronts. But with his conviction in the 2017 Terror Hawala case, the wheels of justice are finally moving. The litmus test for the Modi government now would be to deliver speedy justice in the killing of 4 unarmed Indian Air Force men by Yasin Malik. The family members of the IF officers are waiting for a closure for the last 3 decades. In July, the case hearing will resume in a special Tada CBI court in Jammu. But isn't it time for the criminal justice system of India to sentence the person responsible for these crimes that befits the enemy of the Indian state?
एक को नजर आते हैं तारे, दूसरे को नजर आती है कीचड़. It depends upon you कि आप क्या देखना पसंद करें.
इस क्वार्टर लीडर खन्ना का खून इसको फॉलो कर रहा है. ये बचेगा नहीं, उस केस में भी नहीं बचेगा.
Gautam Adani, one of the richest men in the world, or a business honcho, accused of manipulating the market.
अदानी जी 609 नंबर से दूसरे नंबर तक कैसे पहुंचे? सिर्फ एक सवाल पूछा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी, आपका अदानी जी से रिश्ता क्या है?
He has given the space, the railways, the airport, which he has no experience also. So the country's interest has been compromised.
Government has been very clearly supporting few industrial groups, including Adani's industrial group.
Target Adani. Streaming now. ChatGPT. It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters, graphic artists, producers, video editors, camera crew. But does a newsroom really need them today?
All of us have to think about unique and distinctive value addition.